Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today for our session highlighting the Life in America collection. We're grateful you're spending part of your day with us, and we are going to get started. The Life in America collection offers students, patrons, faculty, and scholars critical perspectives, context, and background as recorded by the news media to better interpret the story behind the formation of modern-day America. NewsBank's Life in America collection is a growing family of products designed to help users to explore America's past and present through a wide and diverse lens. And this is really a critical time to understand how the past shapes the present. So thank you for taking the time to be here today. The session is being recorded, and we will send a copy to everyone who registered today. My name is Catherine Bergerson. I am the Vice President of Marketing at NewsBank, and I am delighted to be joined today by my colleague, Jim Draper, who is the President of ReadX. It's our goal to share with you today an overview of these rich collections and really what makes them unique. We'll show you how to search effectively to find the most relevant information to your area of interest. We will provide some ideas to help you build visibility, including examples from other libraries and institutions, and we'll discuss some next steps. Feel free to enter your thoughts or questions or clarifications into the chat. There's an icon that if you open up and type it in, we will monitor and get back with you shortly following the presentation today. So if that sounds good to everyone, we are going to dive right in. Before we get into the content itself, I'd like to share a little bit of background with you. NewsBank and ReadX are proud to be a family-owned company for more than 50 years. We're a leading news and information provider to public libraries, research institutions, and schools. We aggregate information that is credible and vetted from global news sources, many of which are unique to our company, and all of which are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from any device. And again, today we are showcasing the Life in America family of products, one of our fastest growing and newest collections. To guide us through the content, I'd like to introduce Jim Draper, President of ReadX. Jim, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Catherine, for that very warm introduction. I appreciate it very much. I am Jim Draper, President of ReadX NewsBank. I am absolutely delighted to join you today to give you a tour of one of our most successful and widely used collections of products. Let's start with a little background. Over 1,000 institutions are using the collection every day, and many institutions have access to all or nearly all of the products, for which we are most grateful and we say thank you. The common theme uniting the Life in America family is this: each product focuses on a single people group and does its very best to capture the group's entire story through news coverage from earliest times to today. Let me share some thoughts about what I like to call the product philosophy underpinning Life in America. I've been in the publishing business for nearly 40 years. One of my earliest learnings was this: every good product or family of products needs a mission and a purpose, along with an editorial vision and a content vision. It also needs to align with the real needs of users. In the case of Life in America, the vision is both simple and, I think, profound. ReadX and NewsBank together manage the largest archive of historical news in the world. The content has been in development for over 50 years, and it is entirely matchless. Fortunately, the content has particular strengths in certain areas. For example, Hispanic American news and African American news. In a moment, you will see the relevance of this. The content also has deep coverage of all other news from all time periods, beginning in the rather incredibly 17th century and extending to today and, as you will see, to tomorrow. Given these riches, the content and editorial visions were relatively easy to formulate. First, use news content to tell the stories of people groups, as I've mentioned already. Second, make the material easily accessible to researchers and users at every level. This may sound easy, but it's a unique product challenge, which I believe we've solved successfully, again, as you will see. Third, be sure to capture every story we can, not just the ones commonly studied in textbooks or in classrooms. Take it to the next level, then take it even further, which is what we've done. And fourth, be sure to provide the broadest points of view available from around the United States and indeed from throughout the globe. That's a big vision, and therefore it's a lot to unpack, but let me try to do it for you in 10 minutes or so. What I hope you will see is the power of the products and, critically, their purpose and how that purpose is achieved. Now, rather than a click-by-click quick tutorial to show you the functionality of the products, together we will explore the human stories they capture, the ones that reveal how content, going back there. Now, rather than a click-by-click tutorial to show you just the functionality of the products, together we will explore the human stories they capture, revealing how content and context and access points make life in America so successful for a very broad group of users. So at this point, I'm going to share my screen so I can show you the products. For the next few minutes, you won't see much of my face, but I will come back to you after the product tour for a closing. Here is Indigenous Life in America. I'm going to do what we call an open search. It's kind of a hack that you can use yourself. Here is a search box. As you can see, I'm going to hit search. And what this does is pull up all of the content in the product so I can give you a sense of what's here. So first, you can see in just this one product, Indigenous Life in America, we have over 15 million content items. And there you see the proof of that. I'm going to show you how many different news sources we have. And again, this is representative of the Life in America program, but this is just one product you're seeing here. And here you go. 18,031 individual news sources. Now, these are not individual news items, these are sources. And you can see very clearly that sometimes sources contain a lot of different items. 309 in this case, but in other cases, thousands and thousands and thousands. I also want to show you how far back the content goes, because as I mentioned earlier, we begin sourcing content from hundreds of years ago. I'm going to sort to the very beginning of this particular collection now. There you see it. And wow, gosh, look at this. 1690, Public Occurrences, which happens to be the first newspaper published in what was then called America, pre-United States. And here you see one of the earliest articles. You will see very clearly how far back this collection goes. Here you'll also find content in many, many languages. In fact, in this product, similar to other ones, we have 38 different languages, and I'm going to show you that. And here we go. 38 languages, and here they are. And you can see by count, we have not a lot of Hungarian or Slovak, wouldn't expect to. We have a lot of English language content, and we have a fair amount of Spanish, French, Gaelic, Finnish, and the others that you can see right here. We're going to circle back to Indigenous Life in America in just a moment. For now, I'm sharing this view of the top of the product and the bottom of the product, because to my mind, it demonstrates very effectively not only how much content there is in the product, but how easy it is to search it, use it, and begin to explore it. Now I'd like to show you something else that is very important. I'm going to use Black Life in America as our example. And here you see the homepage of Black Life in America. Many users of Life in America products have told us that the most valuable tool we've developed for this line of products is what we call suggested searches, which appear on the homepage at the bottom, as I just scrolled to. This tool is designed to help users of all types, whether you're a very advanced researcher or a much younger person first encountering the history of Black Americans. help these users explore the major themes and critical subjects and events, whether they be big or small, in this product. Now I'd like to show you something else that is very important. For this demonstration, I'm using Black Life in America, which you can see on the screen now. Many users of Life in America products have told us that the most valuable tool we've developed for them is what we call the suggested searches that appear on the home page. And here you see them as I've scrolled to just here. This tool is designed to help users of all types easily explore major themes and critical subjects and events big and small in the product. And you'll see in a moment that it's really perfect for students and researchers at any level, whether they are really advanced and very sophisticated users, or whether they are younger students, for example, encountering the history of Black Americans for the first time. Here you see in early 21st century, 2001 to the present, the matters that are most actively discussed in the news today, and of course in classrooms and in research centers throughout the United States and around the world, in fact. So, for example, activist groups and protest movements. You can see just an example of the coverage we have from this rather narrow time period, including, of course, events that will be well known to all of us on this call from American history in the past 5, 10, 15 years or so. I'll just scroll down a tiny bit here to give you a larger sense of what else is here. Court decisions. I'll let you take a look at that for a moment. Very famous ones here. Some not so famous, but absolutely essential for the full understanding of Black American history. And we're really proud that we have gone to this level of depth. It's not just Brown versus Board of Education, which is very important. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other cases called out through these suggested searches. I'm going to show you one more area that I think is of great interest and, again, challenging material here. I'm going to go back in time to the antebellum pre-Civil War period, and I'm going to take a look at slavery as an institution. We have extremely rich coverage of what it was like to be a slave living on a slave plantation. It's often difficult material. It's hard to read because the stories are not pleasant ones. Here's an example of one of these searches under the category Slavery as an Institution. It is Lives and Working Conditions of Slaves. I'll open that up. Here again, you see how the search is constructed. Behind the scenes, we have a complete editorial team with subject matter expertise that understands how to build this kind of search to bring content forward. And here you see 437 results. In fact, we could present from the product many, many more, but the editors had chosen to present just these, so it's not a fire hose of content. You can expand your search in any way, and any user can, pretty simply, expand the search or contract it to get more precise or larger groups of content. So here, let's just open up one. I'll grab it from 1836, Physical Condition of Slaves. And here you see a report from the New Hampshire Patriot and State Gazette covering that matter. It's a long description of life on a slave plantation. Difficult material indeed, but part of American history. And our mission here is to bring it to the surface for interpretation and understanding. So I'm going to go back to the homepage again. And by the way, I'm going to spend a little more time with this product than I will with the others. Again, to give you a sense of how rich they all are. This is very representative. So let's go here to the Civil Rights Movement period in the United States. You see that right here. And I'm going to scroll down to a very important court decision right here. Alabama court sentences Jimmy Wilson to death for stealing $1.95 from 1958. This is a very important decision for many reasons. I can't go into them right now. I'm going to open this up and you're going to see that, yes, it got wide coverage. I consider this to be a very good example of the depth of this product. Not every history of Black Americans covers this matter. That's because they haven't been able to have access to the content we have or the space in which to create this kind of experience. But here you see 400 results, and this can be expanded by date. Just extend that date there, and more material can be called up on this single particular case. Again, representative and indicative of how the whole product, the entire Black Life in America product, is structured, and indeed all of the other Life in America products, as you're going to see in a moment. Now let's take a second look at the Indigenous Life in America product, where I'd like to share just one search that helps reveal the depth and the range of the Life in America program. So let me move over to Indigenous Life, and here we go. I'm going to go to the home page in this case. Then, as users will do, I'm going to jump to suggested searches. Notice it was that button up there. Jump to suggested searches, and I am going to this era, Indian removal to boarding schools, 1830 to 1860. And in this era, I am going to open under reservations and removal, which you can see here. Forced removal of Cherokee Nation begins 1838. Here you see coverage of the very beginning of the Trail of Tears. Beginning in the 1830s, we have very extensive coverage of this and every other matter relating to Indigenous life and Indigenous history. Here you see very, very rich coverage from all around the country of the early part of the Indian Removal Act and its impacts. This, again, is representative of the kind of content we have for every one of the suggested searches. And in each product, there are hundreds and hundreds of them, and there are dozens and dozens of eras and main subjects, all designed to make the content more accessible. And I must tell you that these are very valuable. Our users tell this all the time, and they tell us this because often they're learning something for the first time, as in the example from Black Life in America just a moment ago. They also find it a simple and engaging way to learn history because they can go piece by piece and jump from link to link, learning as they go along. One more thing I'd like to share with you using Black Life in America as an example. With all of the content open to view in Black Life in America, which we have right now, you can see 112 million individual content items here. I'd like to show you one of my favorite features of this product and of all the Life in America products. First, I'd like to ask you to imagine you live in Detroit, as I do, and that you want to explore coverage of an event commonly known as the Detroit riots, which occurred in the late 1960s. Here's how you do it. And you can do this in all of the products for whatever event you happen to want to research. But here's how you do it. First, I'm going to go to this search box here, and I'm going to type in Detroit riots. Okay, that's a fairly open kind of search, not terribly specific or technical, not using quotation marks or anything. I just want to get coverage of Detroit and riots together. Here we go. And we have 304,691 results. That's an awful lot for me to look at. Not sure I can get through all of this in a single day or a single hour. It's just so much to consider. So what I'd like to do is a little bit of filtering. I'm going to move down here and use this left rail, as we call it, to localize the coverage to just a couple papers because I want to see what they were saying at the time. And guess what? I'm going to use my hometown papers, the Detroit News and similar. And here we go. That's nice. Detroit News. I'm going to go down here. And you can see Detroit News has had many manifestations. Certainly this one will have coverage because you can see the date range right here. It covers the mid and late 1960s. So I'd like to see what's there. But boy, are there any others I'd like to take a look at that might be from that time period? Well, let's kind of scroll right here. There's some interesting possibilities, but I think for the moment, I'm just going to stick with what I have. I'm going to apply this, saying, just show me the coverage in the Detroit News of the Detroit riots. And here we go. Limited this now to 11,000 results, which is an awful lot. I'm going now to limit to a certain time period. I'm going to make it 1965 to, let's say, 1969. There might be some commentary before the event if people began to see the possibility of it occurring. And there's certainly commentary after the event because news coverage isn't just on the day or the next day. It often continues for quite a long time, especially with important events. So what have I done here? I've searched for Detroit riots across the entire Black Life in America content set. I've then limited to the Detroit News among all the sources possible, and then limiting further to a smaller time period than we have full coverage of. I'm going to apply that and watch what happens. I now have a very manageable set of results, which I can further refine if I wish. 1,784 covering the Detroit riots, with on-the-spot live reporting and commentary covering this event clearly from many, many angles. Now, I can expand this at this point. I can add more sources. I can limit to certain languages if I wish to do. I can change the content type. Many, many options I have at this point. The other option that I haven't shown you is I could reverse the whole thing. I could say to myself, I want to study the Detroit riots, but I want to understand what people in, say, Los Angeles or New York or Boston or Miami were saying about the Detroit riots at that time. Because of the number of sources we have in this product, covering every state and nearly every city and many foreign nations and capitals, all of those perspectives can be gathered here. This is a simple example I'm giving you of something that can be marvelously complex if you wish it to be, or can be very simple to manage, as you see here. We're very proud of this because these facets, these views, are unique to the ReadX NewsBank world and a software we developed very, very specifically for use in cases of this type. So I'm very happy to give you this demonstration to give you a sense of all of this power of the navigator on the left hand. So far, you have seen how deep and how expansive the coverage is in Life in America products. As I begin to move towards the conclusion of our session today, I'd like to use Asian Life in America. Here you see it, and I'm moving down to suggested searches to show you how much content is added every day to these products. This is a critical thing to know about because this daily content ad keeps everything up to date, and it also helps researchers gain essential perspectives about situations that are fluid or new or changing rapidly. For a moment, I'd like to zoom in on the post-2018 time period. Here it is. We call it Crazy Rich Asians to the present, and give you a sense of what's going on. So here we go. As I scroll back here, jump for a second. Arts and entertainment. Well, you see all of this content covering arts and entertainment up to the present day here, up to 2023, up to 2023. Here's 2019, Yellowface, a new novel, 2023. I'll scroll down a little farther, business and entrepreneurship. Have a look at these events, all very current. Many Asian Americans up to 2023, this one happens to be. Of course, there's content covering up to 2024. We add new content every day, and we add new suggested searches when major new events or new people emerge on the scene. Here's government, and again, you can see the dates here. 2024 United States presidential election. Scroll down a little bit more and pause so your eyes can adjust. U.S. Supreme Court ruling against affirmative action at colleges and universities. Historical reflections. From time to time, current day authors and journalists write about past times because there are new thoughts or reflections on those times. And sometimes those times weren't covered terribly well when they happened. So we created this particular category called historical reflections to create coverage and capture points of view of events of the past. Opinions are restated, reemerge, or tend to change. And you see examples right here. International affairs. I'll just keep scrolling. Notable people. Society and culture. This is a very rich category across the product lines. Sports and athletes. And also unrest and acts of violence. So why don't I just open up one of these to give you a sense of how current this content is. Stop Asian Hate Movement takes hold 2021. I'm going to open this up, and we have results covering this movement from post-2018. And here you can see best matches. I'm now going to sort for the newest content, and have a look at that. All the way up through 2025, and more to be added soon based on new authorship and new journalism. And moving backwards, you can see the beginning of this era, 2021 to the oldest. The majority of content in Life in America products is in the English language, but many of our users don't know English, and a lot of the history is covered in, say, Spanish or Portuguese. This is certainly the case with Hispanic life in America, which you see on the screen now. Before we close, I'd like to take you on a quick journey way back in time and take a look at how we have managed this language question. I'm going to scroll down now to Cuban independence, to Mexican Revolution time period. I'm going to jump over here to civil rights and activism. I'm going to reopen it right now and open up Mexican revolutionaries published anarchist newspaper, as you see here in Texas. And I'm going to open this and show you the richness of content that is not in the English language. And here we go. Here is a single paper, 755 results from the early part of the 20th century. I'm going to scroll down to what we call a navigator, which will help us see what languages are covered in the content set we've requested. And have a look here. English, 57, Spanish language, 698. I'm going to open this up as well to show you there's a navigator to help you navigate even such a small slice of the content set. This filter enables a user to choose which type of material he or she wishes to encounter at this point. So very, very rich. What you're seeing here in this single example applies across the board, all across the Life in America program to non-English language content. We have it in abundance because very often that is how the journalism was originally created. But we also make it, of course, super easy for English language speakers to get what they need too. We see it as the best possible balance and the most objective presentation of news history by including so many different languages, as you've seen more than once in this demonstration. Pause. Now I'm going to stop sharing and return to myself. Time doesn't permit me to go deeper today. So I hope you will take the opportunity to check out the Life in America products yourself and explore the people groups of America. So where do we land with our demonstration today? First, I hope you've enjoyed the stories I've shared and gotten a good sense of the power of Life in America. Thank you for sticking with me. From my perspective, the core story is this for each of the people groups covered in Life in America. From the earliest news reports to today's headlines, the Life in America collection provides both historical depth and modern relevance. It reveals the stories, the achievements, the challenges, the successes, the points of view, the human drama of the American people. And thanks to the astonishing news assets at Redex and NewsBank, and equally to our amazing editorial teams who shape the products, you can share these stories with your communities too. Thank you very, very much for taking this tour with me. Catherine, back to you.
Wow, thank you, Jim. Thank you so much. Well, now that you've seen what the resource can do, I'd like to talk about how to get it into the hands of your users. This next section is all about practical, ready-to-use strategies that you can start using right away. I'll share 5 of my favorites with some examples from peer institutions and organizations because librarians are really amazing at getting the word out, and we like to call it learn from librarians. So number 1, get it in the news. For public libraries, you can send a short press release to local outlets, community papers, even the radio or city newsletters, and just keep it simple, what the resource is, what it's for, and a direct link to your library to help people get started. Feel free to include a graphic. Visuals are always very helpful. For academic libraries, add a blurb to your department newsletter or perhaps partner with your institution's marketing team. They're always hunting for fresh content. So, talk to them and find out where your message fits into some campaigns that they already have in motion. And you can see a few examples here on your screen about promoting Hispanic Heritage Month and using Hispanic Life in America or Black Life in America around Black History Month. So there's some examples there to help you get started. Number 2, build up your web presence. If you do a feature on your homepage, like the resource of the month, or did you know? Perhaps it's a rotating tile. You could tie it to themed programming. Again, Black History Month, Indigenous Peoples Day, Women's History Month. You could really make it context rich and really, really timely. The examples on the screen here, you can see Michigan State as an example, Bloomington Public Library, West Palm Beach. There's all kinds of kind of different ways to call out, whether it's in text or visuals. One library has a whole screen, a whole page dedicated to NewsBank and the ways that they can access news. So all you need is your valid library card and a PIN to access it. And as it says here, there is no limit with NewsBank. So make that your own electronically. Number 3 is social media. Social media is another great way to meet your audience where they are. And with our post suggestions and graphics, it is easy to do. You can see here several great examples from libraries across the country. They used our graphics and copy and helped blend it with their brand. And those simple tweaks can help create a really big reach. So keep social media in mind. Also, really the same information that you post on social media, you can use it as what I like to call a newsletter nugget, just a little brief mention in one of your electronic newsletters. Again, just the graphic and a link, a little bit of information to remind people about the resource. 4th, video views. Lean on video. It is the #1 engagement tool, and we've created some short clips. Each are under 2 minutes for each one of the collections. So whether it's Indigenous life in America, Hispanic life in America, you can get a quick overview video that will help spark curiosity in new users. Or we also have a getting started tutorial that helps people get in and start finding the information that they are looking for. So you can embed those on your website. You could put a link in an electronic newsletter. We encourage you even use them on your own YouTube channel. So video views is number 4. And then number 5, I recommend hosting a hands-on training. You could invite users to explore and search in real time. It really is kind of the fastest way to convert curiosity into confidence by getting people to use it hands-on. So this could be a powerful community engagement moment or a classroom visit, face-to-face meetings if you have civic groups, or again, pair it to other programming that you have. Even run this video, the portion that's Jim's demonstration, you could use that. You could customize it for your audience and swap in some local topics or campus events or curriculum tie-ins. Even try to incorporate a little mini challenge for people. Perhaps they could look for an article from their graduation year, or locate the earliest mention of the town mascot, something like that, that is fun and light and teaches the search flow. So those are my top 5 engagement strategies. One last thing I'd like to share with you is our Marketing and Resource Center. So along with everything we shared today, we also have things like bookmarks, logos, again, those social media posts that are ready to use, and graphics. They're all in one place. Again, we really encourage you to use what we have or make them your own. Here, if you download the presentation, we have a link right into the Marketing and Resource Center for your public library. If you're an academic library, community college, or a K-12 school library, we have a Marketing and Resource Center designed specifically for you. I want to say thank you to all of you who have joined us today. We appreciate your time. Please let us know what you thought about today's session. There is a short survey that will pop up, and we would love to hear back from you. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Goodbye.